What's up, guys? It is I, once again, Yusuf Al Saned, and today, guys, I want to review the third and final chapter in the Dead trilogy by George A. Romero. And guys, this was quite a conclusion to George A. Romero's trilogy of films that involve the living dead, and my god, guys, I reviewed Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. I'll put the link for both of those reviews down below in the description box. But guys, this movie right here, Day of the Dead, it's quite a conclusion indeed, because this movie was not just gory as hell, but this movie actually it really shows us a different side to the zombies like we never seen before, especially in George A. Romero's The Dead trilogy. And like I mentioned before in the past two reviews of both Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero humanizes the zombies like no other, and this movie is the definition of that, especially how the entire focus of the film is how we can tame the zombies or how we can control them, and how that evolves in the story. It's basically about these group of scientists who are led by a female scientist named Sarah, and her mentor is this guy called Logan. And this guy Logan, guys, I mean, he's just a crazy, he's like a crazy Dr. Frankenstein sort of doctor, and Sarah, Logan, and some other scientists are trying to research how to reverse the epidemic, the zombie epidemic that's causing the dead to rise up. Except Logan, or Dr. Frankenstein, is wanting to tame them or to make them more quote-unquote civilized, and how he wants to turn them into, well, living beings where we can live among them and communicate and stuff, and how his solution to their hunger or their thirst for whatever is to reward them. And I don't know what the hell reward is, basically feeding them human flesh, I guess. But Sarah and her friends, including this guy called Johnny, or John, is he's like this Jamaican guy, and guys, I really love this guy. I really love him. Like all of George A. Romero's past black characters, he is not just the most rational, he's the most logical thinking person of the entire movie. He makes the most sense, and yes, he's really cool and really awesome. And all these people are stuck on the ground in this facility base for the majority of the film, and we don't ever see Sarah, John, or the other people outside of this facility base, except for the early part of the movie and the very end. And they're all under the authority of this colonel, or this major named Rhodes. And Rhodes is like this major who lost 5 of his men because of them trying to protect these scientists. And trust me, guys, he wants to get out of that place as soon as possible. But the doctors, or the scientists, Logan and Sarah, insist that they stay to continue their research. I hated 2 characters in this movie. 2 characters in particular are Logan, Dr. Frankenstein, and one of Sarah's pseudo friends, Miguel Salazar. And I really hate this guy, guys. I'll tell you why. I hate when a character in a movie is trying to act tough, like Sarah. I really hate that kind of stereotype where a character is trying to act so tough, but they only end up hurting others or getting them killed. But what's worse than that is having someone like Miguel Salazar, who's trying so hard to prove how not scared he is, or how he can do it, and that kind of stuff. But trust me, guys, he screws everything up for them. I mean, it's no spoiler really, but Miguel really annoyed me, and even later in the film, I still wanted both him and Logan dead. I am not joking, guys. Compared to Rhodes, who is supposed to be the douchebag, I actually felt bad for him in a way compared to Miguel or Logan. And honestly, guys, if you see the movie, you'll know why. I mean, Miguel is just that kind of guy, yeah, that kind of guy I really hate in movies, trying to act like he can do it. I don't like this, I don't like Sarah's personality, how she's trying to act so tough when it's a lot easier to just speak your mind and just be open about the fact that you are scared, you are an emotional person, just like John says. And that's why I love John. He's not just down to earth, he's not just logical, he's very real, guys. And I mean, every single one of George A. Romero's black characters in movies are the best characters. I'm not even saying this like I'm pro-black. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in general that a lot of the white people, nothing against white people, but all the white people in his movies are either dumb, they're going crazy, or they're just delusional. And his black characters, most definitely Peter from Dawn of the Dead, Ben from Night of the Living Dead, and what's his name? Yeah, John from Day of the Dead. They are the most logical thinking people, and they make the most sense, and they are, oh my god, they are just so cool, guys. I love these characters. And Rhodes, he's that kind of antagonist in a movie who you normally should hate and want to see get his comeuppance. But honestly, as the movie goes on, I felt kind of bad for him. I really did. And I mean, it sounds weird, but if you see the movie, I mean, it's just, god damn, why did they all have to end up down here in this facility? Guys, you know that something bad's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. He lost 5 of his men, and he's bound to lose more. And guys, I would have just got the hell out of that place as soon as possible, but I digress. And I mean, what's the point of this whole research to begin with? I mean, the characters are trying to discuss different aspects of the zombie epidemic, of how it's irreversible, you cannot know exactly how it happened. And that's a good point, guys, because we don't normally know any reason behind the zombie epidemic, whether be it in the Dead trilogy by George Romero or The Walking Dead. The Resident Evil movies even don't explain how the infection is caused, yes, by the T virus or by the G virus or whatever. But besides the Resident Evil films, a lot of other zombie films don't really know, or at least the characters don't know how the epidemic started, especially The Walking Dead. It just happened, like it's almost God's punishment upon mankind. And John actually brings this up in a discussion, which is actually my favorite scene of the movie, where he was talking with Sarah and how he's discussing man's purpose in the world and how their bad deeds or their sins they are being punished for it because of how they haven't really done the best for mankind or for the world, and how God's basically punishing them and stuff. It's really one of those things I love about zombie films. It's not just so much the gore or the killing and stuff. I don't really care about that crap. I really don't. What I do care about is when a story is integrated with a zombie film, or at least a zombie story. And if you're able to tell a good story in a zombie setting, it's a bonus for me. It really is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I love guts. I love gore, but when there's no story, it's just meh. It's not for me, really. Same with a movie that has too much sex or too much a lack of character development. I still don't like it. I just want to see a good story, and I want to see just real people interacting with each other. And guys, honestly, this movie, it's not perfect. It's very underrated, yet it has its flaws. Anyways, guys, the Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead are great films, especially Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead had a few parts about it that was way outdated, like the visual and how the zombie effects weren't so good. This film is kind of improvement, especially in the gore factor, but compared to nowadays, it's just fine. But this movie is still the weakest of the three, but I still think it's a movie you can watch and enjoy. And trust me, guys, it's not as fun as Dawn of the Dead, which is more of a thrill ride, but this one actually is kind of melancholic in a way. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my gaming channel where I talk about games, do let's plays, and all kind of good stuff. And until next time, guys, peace out, take care, adios, amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.